Good morning. Welcome to the Franklin County Board of County Commissioners meeting for Wednesday, November 14. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Howard?
Present.
Commissioner Waymire?
Present.
Chair Renaud?
Present.
Vice Chair Oglesby?
Present.
Commissioner Dunn?
Present.
Please stand and join us in our Pledge of Allegiance, followed by our invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father God, we thank you for the great nation we live in. We thank you for our form of government. And we thank you, Father, for those that serve in many capacities. And we ask a special blessing on those that are fighting the fires in California and the people that are serving in our small communities in those capacities that keep us safe. We ask you to bless this meeting, that the decision we make will be unbiased, that we will study the facts, and that we will look at things and do the things that would make you pleased. These things we pray in the name of your Son. Amen. Okay, Derek, hang under correspondence.
No, sir.
Public comment? Okay. Marvin? Or you got somebody else?
Jean's first.
Jean?
Good morning. Gene Hurt, 219 West 4th Street in Linden, Kansas. Okay. Well, I see on the agenda today that you only have one item. You know, there's a number of issues that are still not taken care of as of this date. And the one that is still pending yet and you have not taken care of, and I don't understand why that's not on here today. And that is on the county planners. You know, I've done this, about 3-4 meetings now. I've emphasized to you, and I even read to you what it says on the internet about what has to be done here when there's vacancies that will be occurring the first of the year. But it seems as though, why isn't it on there? Why hasn't it been taken care of? Well, I've tried to analyze that more, and I see it's not there again today, and so I asked the commissioners here, you are the ones that are going to have to ask Derek, why isn't it there? Over here on the wall, there is a code of conduct by the county commissioners. A lot of people don't ever say much about that, but I'm not trying to reprimand any commissioner today or anybody else. But on there it says to treat everybody with fairness and impartiality is number 4, and 5 is be respectful and courtesy conduct to all people, including others from other communities, like myself now, since I am not in Franklin County right now. But my emphasis here is you haven't done that yet. Now, there's a procedure that's been followed in the past. And when you have a number of people that are pending for being a planner, that they're brought before, and they've all pretty well have, I believe, my last understanding of the 3 that have already applied, come before you, and you make the decision on the 2, because that's what vacancies you have is 2, to be done. Now, I hope, and I'm not insinuating here, but I'm just going to say it, I hope that plan hasn't changed, where evidently somebody is going to pick the 2 that are going to be put on the planners, because that's not the way it's been done. That's not what it says on the internet, and it's not what it says either way. But I'm getting the feeling that evidently there must not be the right people that have applied, then that's why it hasn't been brought before this commission. Now, if that is true, you can't do that. as I just stated, on the conduct of a county commissioner, and that's why I'm asking you commissioners, you have to decide who will be the two to be put on the commission, because that's the way it's been for the last 16 years. And it shouldn't change at all. Now, when is it going to get done? You have a duty, because I had two people call me yesterday when they saw that it wasn't on the agenda from this county, wanting to know, Gene, are you going to bring it up again? Why are they not taking care of business for our county and putting right people on that committee? Thank you.
Okay. Next.
Marvin Hutchison.
Come on up, Marvin. Please state your name and address.
Marvin, excuse me, Marvin Hutchinson, in Wellsville, Kansas. I'm here as a representative of the American Legion in Wellsville. I'll start the story. In September, I approached the new elementary principal at Wellsville and asked her if they would consider hosting a breakfast for veterans. And she said yes, she would. So Charles Eggleston and myself come down to the county commissioners, and we requested funds to pay for their meal. Well, things kind of changed after we was here, and we got the check, and I went out to talk to Miss Munsell, and she said, you guys owe nothing. She said the staff and everybody has contributed, and we're feeding the veterans. That's at our expense. So now I'm stuck with a check. So now I would like to return that to the Franklin County Commissioners, because, you know, we have no other way to use it. So maybe next year will be different. But anyway, had we known all this is going to take place, we'd never come down. But anyway, I feel real proud and happy that our elementary school done this for the veterans. So anyway, I would like to return the check, and I appreciate you.
All right, thank you very much. You can give it to Janet. That'll be just fine. I'm sure different ones of us went, just hold on a minute, Marvin, went to different Veterans Day things, but I went to one in Spring Hill that Prairie Creek Elementary did, and then I went to one at Wellsville. And it was a very good breakfast. It was outstanding, and all the kids lined the halls with flags, and I had all the veterans walk through the whole thing and whatnot. And I'm thinking, as we try to teach our kids about the importance of our freedom and stuff, they did a great job, and then they do that. And I'm sure, I know Central Heights does it, I know Appanoose does something in these schools, and I think it's good to see that they're headed that direction. But I don't know if that's the first time somebody's returned a check to the commission or not, but I appreciate it very much, Marvin, and thank you very much. And on a side note, is Eggleston still our commander, right?
Yes.
On the way in, he rolled his truck that morning, and he told him, the ambulance people says, no, I'm not going with you guys. I'm not going to the hospital. I'm going to the breakfast and the Legion meeting. And so they taped him up, and away he came in that morning. So, yeah, he decided, I don't know, maybe that came from battlefield scars. I don't know why, but he decided he was going to be there.
It gave all veterans that went to the breakfast and what have you, we all had a good feeling about it.
Yeah.
And the elementary school, the students, the staff, everybody just went overboard to make us all welcome. So.
Right, and there's a lot of veterans there, and it's good they get to see a lot of the females that are veterans too that are there. They don't always realize, oh yeah, there's women that were in the service, and the high school program was good as well. But that take care of the breakfast was good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda this morning is a consent agenda. The only item will be consider and approve Franklin County Commission meeting minutes for November 7.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Commissioner Oglesby?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Chair Renaud.
Yes. Okay, first item of business, consider for approval rezoning application 1809-1630.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. As you've indicated, the first item on your business agenda is the consideration of a rezoning of approximately 10 acres from an A1 to the RE Residential State Zoning District. This matter was heard earlier this year by the Planning Commission. They did hold a hearing, and after reviewing the proposed land division associated with the rezoning request, the Planning Commission has forwarded a recommendation to you for the approval of the rezoning request from the A1 to the RE residential estate zone. You'll see on the information that was provided in the staff report, there's an aerial photo that depicts the boundary of the property that's being considered for rezoning. The remainder of that will be retained in an agricultural zoning district. We did receive some inquiries from the 8 property owners that were notified, but once they were aware of what was being requested here, they really didn't have an issue with it. I have nothing further to add unless any of you have questions.
Okay, any questions for Larry? If not, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve rezoning application 1809-1630 to rezone approximately 9.87 acres from A1 agricultural zoning district to an RE residential estate zoning district and to amend the official county zoning map accordingly.
Second.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Commissioner Oglesby?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chair Vinod.
Yes. Okay, that takes us to staff reports. Derek?
Yeah, last week I attended a volunteer appreciation dinner out at the Visitor Center. Susan Rader, the last couple of years, has held a dinner for all of her volunteers. As I'm sure you all recall, the Visitor Center is primarily staffed with volunteers, and so was a great event. Susan always does a great job with that. Certainly appreciate the help that we get from the volunteers, because without them, there's no way we'd either have to pay to staff it or it just wouldn't be open nearly as much as it is. So would like to express a debt of gratitude to all of them. November 27th, we would like to have a joint meeting with the City of Ottawa at 9 a.m. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss primarily Proximity Park and various facets of that. So we have the president of KCADC coming down, and that's 9 a.m. at City Hall on the 27th. So if that's going to create conflicts for any of you, please let me know ASAP. And then the last thing would be, as of right now, I plan on having a meeting next week. We have a few items, including our Planning Commission appointments that we would like to have on next week. And so unless you guys object, I want to make sure, I guess, that there will be at least a quorum here for that, knowing that it's a holiday week. So
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
And then I don't know, and I'll look at this. I believe we're scheduled to have a study session the Monday after. And as it stands, I don't know if I have anything to study. If I were to, is that going to create and we can talk about this next week too, but is that going to create a scheduling conflict with any of you that you're aware of?
Not right now.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay. Allison, anything? Okay. Janet?
Well, we completed our canvas yesterday, as you guys know, and everything went very smooth. We're wrapping up reporting all the election results in my office, so we're still going to be busy for at least the remainder of the week getting everything wrapped up on that. So, yep, thanks for coming to that, and appreciate it.
Okay. All right. All right, commissioner comments, board reports?
Last night I attended the Richmond City Council. Craig Van Way from the Kansas Department of Commerce was there. He basically explained the neighborhood revitalization program to their commission and encouraged them to get involved with it, and they were looking into that, explained how it worked to them. That was pretty much all that was on the agenda. However, they have someone there that I believe he's from Fontana, and he's helping them with their water plant, getting it up and running, and their city guy that is there now is not trained in that, and he's also helping to train him, and it appears that that's moving very well for them. So they had a couple other small discussions on a skid loader and what they were going to do about fixing it, and that was pretty much the end of that meeting, and that's all I've been to since. I would like to bring up one other thing. Usually we try to discuss the chip and seal early in the winter, so we have done that before to try to get on early. I'd like to see us put it on a study session, and so we can start into a discussion about possibly owning our own equipment. It seems like all the counties around us own their own, and make that work. And I know it's kind of a time to do it, to be looking into cost and everything. It's not probably the best time, but I feel like we need to look at that before we start talking about issuing a contract for next year. I think there's some things I'd like to bring up that I think we could look into doing, if that works out in pretty near future.
I think another thing along that same item, the thing we approved, the zoning for the Spencer Farms and the trucks coming in and that, we're seeing more and more major ventures, I guess, where they have large trucks and the volume on our county roads. Because Tennessee Road now, beside the rock quarry there on Pawnee, the one that Penny's has, that road is just, I swear, the tires are 4 to 6 inches down, where that road is not going to continue to hold up. And I think that the county, I know we're chipping and sealing some roads, but the base of some of these roads are not going to be able to handle the type of traffic that we're starting to get on them as we add these bigger trucks and loads that are going down there. So I think as you study that, I think that'll be another important key to it. Okay, Rick?
Yesterday morning, I attended the Chamber of Commerce board meeting. There's a lot of things going on. They're looking a little better organizationally. Some things are coming together. They're got some things set this afternoon at 12:15 will be the groundbreaking for the Arby's on South Princeton, which is finally going to take place. They've set their date for their annual banquet is the 19th, I believe it is, of January. So there's a lot of good things that are starting to happen with the chamber as they come around. They've got some new membership that's come on board. The Chrysler dealership that we had was sold and purchased by a larger company out of the Kansas City metro area, which I understand that they're starting to allow a lot better inventory and is a better benefit to our community. The new bed and breakfast, which is the Painted Lady, became a member as well, and some others have come on board as members as they start to rebuild the organization. So some good things are happening within the community.
Yes, I went to the Veterans Day Parade Saturday, represented the county at the Reese Lane. Also, I was really impressed by the kids at Garfield School. There was a teacher there handing out thank you cards from the kids at Garfield, so I appreciate that. Also, this coming Tuesday night, ECAN's annual meeting is going to be at OU, and Richard Jackson's been with ECAN almost 50 years. He announced his retirement effective next summer, and he's going to be the featured speaker. That's all I have.
Okay. I don't have anything myself. If there's nothing else, then, let's see, so we are talking about meeting next Wednesday, and then probably not a study session the following Monday unless something comes up. Okay.
I'll see. I don't know. I want to be prepared to discuss chip and seal and what our options might be, so I don't know if I can have it on quite by that Monday.
That's fine.
But yeah, before the year's up, certainly that shouldn't be an issue. So I think the transition in Public Works directors doesn't help that.
That's what I was meaning by that it's probably not the best time, but I think it's something we need to discuss before
Yeah.
it comes on the agenda to approve next year.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree, so.
Well, at the same time, we understand from the company that's been currently doing that project, the availability of the product and getting early on that process. And, maybe, I don't know if, even if you don't buy the equipment, maybe the county's better off to purchase the cover material or order that if we have a pretty good idea in advance. And then just have a company even do it after that if necessary in the following year. But getting earlier on is what they've advised us to do,
Yeah.
and so that might be something we ought to look at.
Sure.
However, we did move to early on the last time, very early to get around that problem, and we still end up with the problem.
But he did talk about even getting on early in the fall, like now. That's what he's talking about, I believe, the representative. So, I mean, that's something we ought to look at. Maybe there's another product available.
So I talked with our auditor about this to make sure that, everything was going to be smooth with that. And he said anything that we approve to purchase before the end of the year has to be encumbered in this year's expenses. So even if we approve it, but we don't pay for it until January or after, it's encumbered funds and it goes against our budget authority for this year. So we really need to take a look at what our budget authority is, and we definitely don't want to put ourselves in a bad situation with cash carryover for the Public Works Department, that we don't have any cash on hand at the beginning of the year if we utilize all of it to purchase the cover material or something else in regards to the chip seal program or any other large program that we think about doing.
But if you were going to bid it out, you could go ahead and submit it out for bids. The bids be in by January 1 or something like that, or January 5th, and then your bids would be there ready to, if you're going to do that anyway, so that would be an option
Yep.
to.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I don't think the funds are officially encumbered until you approve spending them. And
Yep.
so
Right.
Yep.
we could have that teed up for ASAP in January probably and avoid that issue.
Yep.
Okay, nothing else? I look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.